This is the ZimaBoard 2. This is the 1664 model, which is the 16GB RAM model. And seriously, if you're only going to watch a few seconds of this video, what you need to know is that this thing powers up in seconds. You can run VMs, you can do containers, you can install apps with a single click. You can turn this thing into a home NAS. It has all of these additional ports and connections, which I will talk through, but seriously, this is amazing. I genuinely am shocked about how good this actually is. Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about this thing. We're going to unbox it, we're going to get it set up, and I'm going to show you how to build a bunch of different things on this thing. This is the ZimaBoard 2, as I said in the intro. I was genuinely really surprised about really just how easy and how simple it is to actually get this thing powered on and configured and up and running. Like, you could literally give this to anyone that has no real technical skills to build this. You power it on, you log in via web browser, and you just click in the App Store and install stuff. It is genuinely that easy. Now I do want to thank the company Icewheel. They sent me this product to test and play around with, and honestly I was genuinely really surprised with what it can do. I will show you. So it does come in this little package, this box. Now I tried to do to wait and do a whole unboxing thing, but I couldn't wait. So it comes in this thing here, and inside it you can actually, comes with a nice little note, but it does come with this thing here, so it can actually act like a case for your ZimaBoard. So this actually sits here, and you can, if you want, get some stuff like other hard drives that connects. As I said earlier, it does have a lot of different connections on this. It has two 2.5 gigabit network adapters, which I think is absolutely amazing. You've got two USB ports, you have got a display port. On the side here, you have this. This is a PCIe 3.0 port where you can connect some additional cards and do things. I have a bunch of the different accessories, which I haven't really unboxed that stuff yet, but you can actually expand this. You can add more SSDs. You can do a whole bunch of different stuff. At the back, you have got two SATA ports where you can connect two additional hard drives. A lot of people are actually using these, and they're building like small NASs at home. So that's it. Let's get this thing powered on. We're going to walk through the setup, which will take seconds, and then we'll get some stuff built, and then let's just see what it can do. So I've powered it on. I have connected a network cable. I have a display port connected to a HDMI cable. I've got the power cable. You can see when it turned on because it has this little orange light on the side. Once you plug it in, you can see it on the screen. As you can see, it's telling me the IP address is 1096.11.183. I'm just going to disconnect that cable because I know what the IP address is now. And then move this over here. So the IP address is 1096.11.183. And when you get here, it's going to ask you to log in. Now, as I said earlier, I unboxed this and I opened it and I played around with it yesterday, but whenever you want to set this up and you get to this screen, it just asks you to create a username and password. That's literally all you have to do is type in username and password, hit next, and it brings you into the dashboard. So let me log in and I'll show you what it looks like. So once you get logged in, this is what the ZimaOS, the Zima desktop looks like. It comes preloaded with this. You can remove that and install Proxmox or something else if you really want. This now has got pretty much everything you would need in here. As you can see, I had a play around yesterday where I have installed Uptime Kuma. Let's take a look through the GUI and you can see basically what it looks like. So top left hand corner, the time, then you've got the system resources, the storage, and then you sort of got the network. So this is Ethernet 1. As I said, there is two 2.5 gig Ethernet adapters, which is perfect if you want to turn this thing into a NAS or something, because you will have fast access to this, to the NAS itself. Up here, there is another option for remote access. So you can configure external remote access to this. If you want to use it as a NAS, you can literally have an app on your phone, you can connect in and access your files. So pretty much like something like what Google Drive can do. The most important stuff is down here at the bottom. So let's go right into the App Store. From within here, there's 381 apps already here. Everything that you would want to install if you're going to be self-hosting some of your services is here. It is so easy to install stuff. It even has Portainer in here, which you can use, and I've talked about in many of my other videos. You can use that to start pulling down like other containers from other different services. If you want to download and run any of these apps, like I did with Uptime Kuma, for example, like if I wanted to run Jellyfin on this, which is a really popular media server, literally click in, hit install, and it just goes off and does the install. Like, it's done that in one click. Now you don't have to sit and watch, so you can hit continue in the background and it will pop up here as another icon. Let's go back into the App Store and just check out what else is here. Like OpenClaw, Grafana, like Pi-hole, Now the install is done. It's obviously brought me back out here. So if I click in here, you can see it's going to redirect me and take me directly into the install for this jellyfin, which is just incredible. It's so fast to get that done. Let's go back here to ZimaOS. I'm going to the App Store and have a look down and see what else we can do. NAN, which is interesting. Voice chat. There's so many apps that you can actually run and install here. DuckDNS. This really takes the complexity out of installing like containers and stuff and going through that manual process. Now, if there's something that you use that is not in this list, you do have this option in the top right hand corner, add a containerized application. That's going to bring you through and allow you to kind of go through the manual install of containers. We will do that actually. I'll find a container that we can download and install. The other option, if you don't want to do that and you want to use Portainer or another tool that's used to build containers, and Portainer is there. Again, I've spoken about that in previous videos. That's one of my favorite tools that I use. Now, if you want to use this for virtualization, for building VMs, you do have the option to do that. The ZVM over here, if you open that, it's going to ask you, select the OS, Windows 11, Windows 10, you have all of these different Linux versions. You can also do a custom OS install. So I presume that's going to ask you to provide the ISO, the image, the QQI2. That's amazing. And then the disk size. Let's just download one of these and see if we can get it to work. Now I want to download something that hopefully is fast. Let's go Linux Mint. So it's downloaded the ISO, and now it is going to take me through this process to actually build this VM. I can select the cores, the network type, the NAT. Interesting, bridge to Ethernet 0. I can do that. That should hopefully mean I will get an IP address from my home network and not a NATed IP. Let's just hit create. This is the base model. This is not running any of this stuff. As I said, I did get all of these different accessories. They have sent me a case, like a mount, so you can get some hard drives. And for example, these are the hard drives that would slot into that case. And this is the cables you need to connect into the back of the ZimaBoard. The other stuff that they have sent me in this box is you do get a little fan, so you can install that on the top of this, which sits like that. The other stuff you get is a bunch of all of these different cables. There's a whole pile of goodies. Now, I'm not going to use all of these accessories in this video. I just want to play around with the base models to show you what it is. I do have a special project that I'm going to work on next month with all of this stuff. It's going to be a full series, probably 3 or 4 episodes long. We're actually going to build something really, really amazing with the ZimaBoard 2 and some other stuff. I don't want to give too much away just yet, but if you're interested and you want to see how much this ZimaBoard can actually do, then make sure you hit subscribe. So over here on the Linux install, it's going to bring me through some of this base setup. So let's go through and do that. As you can see, it's booted me directly into the live version of this. Now I could go through into the install, but this is just to show you how easy it is to download and to get these Linux distributions installed on the ZimaBoard. You can't even hear it. It's actually, it's completely silent. And it's not even warm. I've seen, and I thought some of them might get a bit warm, but it's not actually too bad. So go back over here to the system. Right now I have got Uptime Kuma, I have got Jellyfin, I have got a Linux distro running. Now it is only running the live version, so it's not going to pull that much resources. Other stuff it does have, you have got underneath files. You can use this as a bit of a NAS if you wanted. Obviously, if I touched all those hard drives, that's what I would probably do. So under backup, you click in here, you can see this can be used to back up your data. If I go through the setup, it's going to ask me to select my source cloud. Interesting. I could potentially back up Google Drive to this Zima box, which is really, really nice. LAN storage, I could do a replication from my NAS, replicate it across to this as well. So one thing I do want to do is look at the App Store again. Say for example, there is something in here that you don't want to install this way. You want to make some modifications. You want to install it differently. There is 381 apps. So the majority of stuff that you're going to build that you want to self-host at home is probably going to be here. But say for example, we want to install Pi-hole and we wanted to pull it down from Docker Hub. We wanted to do it via this method by adding the stuff manually. Let's just go and do that. So I'm going to open up Docker Hub and let's go and search for we'll search Pi-hole. Where is it? This one. Just pull that one down. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to come back over here and in the Docker image, we're going to paste that. Tag is going to be, we're going to take the latest version. Title, we're just going to do Pi-hole For the web UI, we're going to leave that empty for now. I'm going to add some of these additional ports. Over in Pi-hole, it does use a number of different ports. It uses 53 for DNS, port 80 and port 443. So let's go back over, we're going to add them. So under ports, we're going to click on add. So this is the host and then the container port. So this is the port that the host is going to use as in ZimaBoard. So obviously we're using port 80 and 443 to access the Zima dashboard. So we need to make some modifications here. So what I want to do is, if I use port 8080, like if I put in the IP address and I connect to ZimaBoard on that 8080 port, that's going to redirect to port 80 on the container. And we'll do the same for the other two, for port 443 and 53 for DNS as well. Now I will show you what it looks like. So for 443, we'll do 8443, and that's going to connect to port 443 on the container. And then we'll do 5553 for DNS 53. Let's go down. I'm just going to hit install and let's just see what it does. I love how fast containers just install. Like it's literally, that's just taking seconds. Okay, that is done. So whenever it's installed, you see the little tile on the bottom of the dashboard. So if we click on that, I probably need to make some changes to the address bar. So it's redirected me to this Zima space. Now I want to come up here and I'm going to modify this. We're going to delete that and we're going to connect on port 8080. So that's actually brought me to Pi-hole. So let's click on this. And that has brought me to the login. That was extremely fast. Now you could either just click the install in the App Store. If you want to do things manually, at least you have that option. Let's go back now. I'm going to have a look at the specs. So looking at the system here, this is what it's showing me. It's showing me that, oh, it actually shows me which is using what. So Uptime Kuma is 0.2, Jellyfin is 0. Now, I haven't configured these things. So the more you use those apps, the resources is obviously going to go up. Whenever I spoke with Icewheel about this product, they sent it to me. I did manage to get a discount code. So if you want to get $15 off the price of a ZimaBoard 2, then use the link in my description. That's going to get you $15 off, which is good. Obviously you're saving money. You can use that towards the cost of hard drives and stuff. So that is the ZimaBoard 2. Let me know what you think in the comments, if this is something you would consider buying. Let me know if there's any other products that you think kind of matches to what this can do in terms of size and speed and how easy it is to get it set up and running. I genuinely love to know. Again, thanks again for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you are interested in the future video that's going to come up with the ZimaBoard 2, to give you an idea, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing into the ultimate Proxmox cluster, meaning several ZimaBoards. Subscribe if you want to see that video when it does come out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. As always, please like and subscribe because it really helps me grow and get these videos out to more people who want to see them. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.